Yeah. Larry, yeah.
There you go. All right. Take two. You always got to have your mic on. Larry Krueger, Dan Coach Amelia, Ryan Smith after Warrior basketball. The Blazers dominated the first quarter. It looked like they were running away. It was 41-27 after one, and Golden State blitzed them in the third. 39-17 in the quarter. Golden State followed it up with a 36-point fourth quarter, and they win at home. A very satisfying win, 123-105. Giants baseball to talk about. John Lynch spoke today at the Combine in Indianapolis, and some really, really interesting stuff coming out on the 49er quarterbacks. So a lot to get to on this Tuesday night. Good to see you guys. How you guys doing? What'd you think of the basketball game?
Awesome.
I did not think they had that in them. Like to pull off another comeback like that versus the Blazers.
40-point turnaround.
I mean,
they were down 23 and they ended up winning by what, 18? 41-point turnaround?
Yeah, huge
turnaround. That's down unbelievable.
23, came back and win at 123-105.
Yeah, they won it going away. Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, just how they got hot. It all was done by defense and then going to the basket. Just, Portland, I mean, gosh, it looked like a, college team playing junior high when they were driving the lane. There was just nobody there to stop them.
How about they're in the 5 seed right now? They have the tie over the Clippers.
Are they in the 5 now?
Warriors?
Yeah.
Let me check that out.
It's amazing. Man. You win a couple games. This is going to be a legitimate battle down the stretch almost every single night. How about the jam? How about the jam by Kuminga?
Oh, that was unbelievable.
Should have been a foul even. And then also I got to give it up to Shaedon Sharpe. Also had a pretty sweet dunk.
Yeah. That was nice.
He's
nice.
Like the Kuminga of this year's draft.
He cocked it back. But
also Jordan Poole, yesterday we saw Steve Kerr kind of talking to Jordan Poole. We don't know what was said at practice, but Poole did only hit 3 of 10 threes, but wound up with 29 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, did have 4 turnovers, but a plus 25 for Jordan Poole, who was really good tonight. I don't know how you guys feel about Jordan Poole. I just feel like I like him so much more going to the hole than I do on the perimeter. I mean, he can shoot the 3 ball sometimes, but it comes, it goes. I just like what he does, especially on a team that has Clay and Wiggins and Curry and other guys who will shoot the 3. It's like what they lack is that guy who's going to put it on the deck, attack the rim, and go to the line. That's why there's such a free throw disparity night after night after night. He could ease that disparity or at least even it out a little bit by just attacking the rim, and he did more of that tonight, so I liked seeing that.
Absolutely. I mean, he's an unbelievable around the rim, and I don't really know why. I mean, I don't really know why it kind of tailed off. It seemed that like it's almost there was like a 20-game stretch there where it just seemed like he was just hucking threes and that's it. And it's like, especially versus the Blazers, they don't really have any rim protection, and plus if he gets fouled, like, I mean, he's so like kind of herky jerky. What like he can bait the refs into some fouls, and he goes to the stripe, and then it's like they're gimmies. So if him and Clay can start to get to the line more, that would that would completely change things for this team.
Carl MF says Larry sounded like Trent Baalke yesterday with Raj. Man, I have been battling just the worst cold. And it got me yesterday morning. I'm scheduled to do a live stream, and then I was scheduled to be on 95.7 The Game, and I did the live stream, and I'm just like, oh my God, my voice is just totally shot. It was like, have you ever talked where like every word sounds like, you're going to like step through a wooden floor? I mean, it just, I was like, oh my goodness, this voice. And I had to call it. I had to call it after a half hour with Raj, and then couldn't make it on the radio the last 2 days. So, I'm starting to feel a little bit better now, but if I still sound a little, I really don't get, I don't get that like throat cold. I don't know if it's because I've been a broadcaster, but I really don't. It's like I'll get like, some kind of, stuffy head or sore throat, but I don't get into that like, laryngitis mode that a lot of people get into very often. And it's for a broadcaster, when you do have the laryngitis, it's just like, you're like, am I ever getting it back? It's like,
Yeah.
is this gone forever? It's that kind of a vibe. So anyway, making my way back, but yeah, it's been a rough couple days health wise. But in a lot of ways, any win is a good win for Golden State, right? This battle royale down the stretch with all these teams in the West, it could go any number of directions. And, to me, I was just happy to see that they're getting wins against a good team. I mean, a Blazer team, they're sub 500, but they're decent this year on the road. Without Steph Curry, still without Curry. They didn't get a huge contribution from the bench other than Kuminga tonight. So, for them to get a nice, comfortable win against the Blazers in a game where the Blazers jumped them early, this has got to be one of the better wins of the year, I think.
Oh yeah, this is huge because what are you down to your final 20 games or so? What are they, 32 and 30 now?
Yeah, so you're right, 20 games.
20 games. So yeah, you want to win at least 12 to 13 of these, probably closer to 15 if they can. 15 wins would give them 47 wins and probably get them in a maybe all the way to 4, but definitely in the top 6. It's interesting because Thursday night, the Clippers lost tonight to the T-Wolves. So it's setting up this homestand, like all these teams that they're fighting against, they can control the 5th seed with a win Thursday night against the Clippers and, then go after Phoenix. Ideally, I would love to see them. I don't think they can get to 3 because it looks like Sacramento's going to hold on.
Which,
I'm
by the way,
surprised.
just
I'm surprised they haven't fallen back. But if you could get to 3, that's ideal because you avoid Denver in the second round. If you're in the 4 seed, you're probably going to have a tough first round matchup with someone like the Clippers.
Do you think the Lakers make it?
I think they're in trouble now. LeBron's out for a few weeks.
Yeah.
I saw the numbers, though. They got pretty good odds to make the playoffs still. The boxing one was huge tonight. Kid Trickster references it. He says DiVincenzo played amazing defense on Dame with the boxing one. Or actually said the and one. They said the boxing one. You don't see a boxing one that much, Danny. Your brother coached basketball. Did you remember Steve busting out the boxing one? I mean,
oh yeah,
it's great if you have one, kind of on the, you've got one guy who's just absolutely everything emanates from that one guy, and you kind of want to force the ball into somebody else's hands. I like the boxing one. It upsets teams' rhythm, who kind of like initiate through one guy most comfortably. What'd you think of the job that the boxing one did on the Blazers?
I thought it changed the entire complexity of the game. I mean, it forced them into throwing up shots that were not open shots. They forced them into a lot of turnovers. Dame, what I also liked the fact on offenses was Dame was in some foul trouble and they went right at him. And that was really good to see Poole and Clay go right at him. So yeah, the boxing one is very effective if they don't have a bunch of other shooters.
Yeah, well, plus that just like, it's another difference between Dame and Steph. Teams have tried sort of boxing ones on Steph, or like even like triangle and twos.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like, with Steph moving off the ball the way he does, you just can't really just sit in a zone and have one guy, on him the entire time. It doesn't work the same way. But with Dame, I love it, especially coming off the 71 points.
Yeah.
He was 9 of 20. Lillard shot 9 of 21, finished with 25, but he had to earn it. 7 assists, 3 boards, 3 steals, only 2 turnovers.
Were you guys
13 turnovers on the night for Portland? So Golden State did force some turnovers, but they also turned it over 16 times themselves.
Was that an aberration? Was that like Tybalt hitting 5 of 6 for 3? I thought he wasn't a shooter.
Oh, he's not.
Yeah, he can only like he kind of can shoot corner threes, but that's about it. I mean, that was pretty shocking.
Yeah.
His 3-point shooting percentage for the season is 35%. So it's not embarrassing, but his career 3-point shooting percentage is 33.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
he's more of an
better than I
on-the-ball
would have
defender.
expected. Yeah.
Do you think the Warriors will go after Nerlens Noel? Did he go anywhere today?
They got to have him by tomorrow. He's got to be on the roster by March 1st.
Who would you want? Because, I mean, Ibaka's out there. Nerlens Noel's out there. Sai's been talking up Stanley Johnson. Would you rather have a big defender? Would you rather have I kind of like the idea of Noel because I think he could give you some rim protection. And I'm concerned about Golden State, ability to get to the finish line in this playoff run. I mean, if you told me Golden State was going to win the title, the thing that I would know from that is that they're going to be incredibly healthy, down the stretch, because I don't think they can do it if they're not, and especially if they lost Looney.
Oh my God.
They have to have some interior pushback. And I like the idea of Noel because I think he can run the floor with them.
Yeah, I like it too. And another one that I heard, I don't think it's going to happen, but we can all dream. And this doesn't help the rim protection at all, but the Nets have been just burying Seth Curry at the end of the bench. And it's like he would be finishing crunch time minutes for a lot of contenders in the league. So I just think that that's a little strange, and it kind of lends me to think maybe there's an outside chance they let him go. I'm not sure. Just
tomorrow though.
It would have to be tomorrow.
Let who go tomorrow?
Seth Curry.
I think Seth Curry's
Brooklyn?
gonna get let go, maybe.
Yeah,
Brooklyn?
Yeah, because they're not playing him. They've buried him. They're like, it's kind of like what happened to Tybalt, where it's like he started getting buried, and then it was like, all right, writing's on the wall. But with Seth Curry, like, there's a million teams out there that seriously, like Miami. There's a lot of teams that are like semi-contenders that would be closing games out with Seth Curry out there. He's a guy who, he's been in big games. He knows how to play, and he can shoot the hell out of the ball.
I mean, does he with the Warriors? I mean, with Poole and DiVincenzo and Peyton, is there really?
I mean, that makes him awfully small, but if you want to have, it depends what you think they need, because at times they look like they lack, depth in the front court, and they definitely do at times. But then there's times where they look like they lack scoring and firepower, and it's like, if you catch them on the right night where they're lacking firepower, you're like, hey, you know what? Seth Curry is exactly what the doctor ordered. I kind of felt it the other night. Who was it that they were playing the other night that really did a nice job and beat them and had a bunch of guys score? Oh, the Lakers.
Yeah.
The Lakers had they had Austin Reeves score a bunch of points off the bench, and they just looked like they had more firepower. And that to me is a concern. Ghostface Gangsta says Kerr's being stubborn. He doesn't want another big.
Yeah. Also, like, at what point let's say the Warriors win another title either this year or next year. At what point do we start to consider the possibility of a Looney statue? Because it's getting to a point where it sounds absurd to say, but like they would not have won these titles without him.
Without who?
Looney.
Yeah. Oh, like Kerr calls him Loon.
Yeah.
I mean, they love him.
He wouldn't be a Hall of Famer, but like, I don't know. He might be
statue. He needs a statue by himself.
I'll say this: he's very effective.
Yeah,
it's like it does. He looks there's a lot of lethargy in the look of his game, but man, if you really watch him really closely, he understands how to play. He understands how to pass. He's really good at, not just getting a rebound, but with the pump fake. And then here he comes. When you go up, he goes and puts it up. When you're on the way down, he's so good at defending inside, but then he's got such crazy arm length that he can close out on perimeter shooters while defending still inside. I mean, the guy really, every movement on the floor is thought out. I mean, he's he's really underrated.
And-
I
and-
thought when I saw him, when I first saw him coming out of UCLA, I'm like, this guy's never going to be able to run up and down on the NBA floor without getting hurt. He just looked like he was in pain when he ran, and he lumbered and labored up and down the floor. But man, I mean, it's he didn't miss a game last year.
It's insane. I mean,
Yeah, he hasn't missed one this year either.
Really? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. The guy's incredibly durable, and he's heady and he's smart. And I don't know where the hell they'd be without him. That's for sure. They'd be lost without him.
This is saying something. I turned when I on Sunday in Arizona. On Sunday when we were watching the Timberwolves game, and all of a sudden it was like they couldn't get the freaking ball in bounds. At the end, and it seemed like, oh my God, are they going to somehow blow after this courageous comeback? Are they going to blow it somehow? I was like, okay, hear me out. Maybe just throw it to Looney, because I actually trust that guy with the ball. I don't care about the free throws. I trust him with the ball, even in that situation. Like Clay kind of sketches me out with the dribbling. Poole gets a little bit wild. Yeah, I was like, why not Looney?
Yeah, 95.7 Brian says Nerlens Noel would be a perfect backup big for the Warriors. Not only does he give you rim protection, but he also provides vertical spacing that they desperately need. I don't even think of Noel at all as a shooter. What does he? I mean, his perimeter shots. What does he do from the perimeter?
I'm looking up right.
But what I love is that he was like third in the league in blocks per minute, like not that long ago, and he's not old. He's like 27. So to me, he seems like it would be a nice player to have just as a deterrent for. I mean, the one thing with Golden State is that they're getting beat off the dribble with regularity. Guys are getting inside, and it's like if they had that deterrent at the rim, at least that would maybe make guys a little less eager to go all the way in, and they might settle for the kind of the in-between shot. I don't know. Serge Ibaka is interesting, but I just think that he's old. And we're talking about, guy that you want to see in June. Hendricks, by the way, says NorCal Sports Network live from Arizona. There you go, Danny.
Yeah.
Peak chip. Danny's channel, by the way, if everybody in the chat joined Danny's channel, it's called NorCal Sports Network. And Hendricks, did you do a show the other night, Danny?
What's that?
Did you do a live stream the other night?
Last night, yeah.
Last night.
I set Dan up, and then I was like, because I missed like the first like 45 seconds, and then I came back in and I was like, oh, how'd it go today? And he was like, oh, well, the only thing is I forgot to add myself to the stream at the beginning. So it was just like a blank Scottsdale Stadium for like 18 seconds.
Yeah, I totally I'm starting to talk, and I was like, I did my intro, everything, hit the buttons, and I'm like, I start talking, and I'm going, where am I?
It's hard to make an impact if you're not there.
I'm like, oh, I'm not in. Oh, yeah, I got to push that button.
MF says, heard a rumor that Farhan will be going on the NorCal Sports Network.
Wait, can we play, I know it's still, we're talking dubs. Can we play the Brandon Crawford interview just because it's hilarious?
Yeah, do you have it?
It's hilarious. Okay, yeah, I do. I can just play the file. We don't.
Hendricks says Gavin Lux torn ACL today.
Yeah, that's
you guys
too
see
bad.
that play going from second to third?
That I hate seeing guys get injured. Even if it's a Dodger, you hate to see the player get hurt.
Okay.
It was an odd one, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was just trying to avoid the ball being
Brandon Crawford,
like he was in the line.
Giants clubhouse, and Brandon, just a quick few questions for fun. We just, what's your favorite food?
Favorite food?
He was in a hurry.
Mexican food a lot.
Mexican food?
Yeah, I go enchiladas, tacos, anything. Can't go wrong
Yeah,
with Mexican food.
awesome. How about favorite dessert?
Favorite dessert? I'll go with favorite sweet because it's not necessarily used for dessert a whole lot, but donuts, I think, are
Donuts.
number one.
Have you had Bosa's donuts down here?
Yeah,
Oh, those are awesome. I live pretty close. It's kind of like, dang, it's hard to avoid that place. Favorite baseball movie?
I'll go with the Sandlot. It's a classic.
Oh, okay.
What's
How
it going
about
Sandlot.
funniest teammate?
Jock. I think
Jock?
Everything he does is pretty funny. So
Yeah.
I'll go with him, even when he's not trying to do it.
All right. And favorite athlete of all time, any sport?
Oh man. with Steph.
Steph?
In the Bay.
That's a good one.
Steph. He's too fun to watch. To
Yeah,
anybody else.
that's a good one. Okay, and the last two. You're known for style, shoes. What do you think of my shoes?
They're orange.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely play in here.
Yeah, they play, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a pair of those too.
Do you really? You have a
Very
same?
comfortable.
Yeah, they
Not
are.
the same color
Not-
scheme, but
Okay.
I
Yeah.
need to think about it.
Yeah.
Pair of
Yeah.
workout shoes.
And last one. This is just kind of fun one. You're. I asked Mania this. You guys got great hair. I had a lot of hair when I was young, but now I'm 61. You're what? Coming on 36.
36. Turned
So
36.
yeah. So you're 25 years younger. Do you have any fear? 25 years from now, looking like this.
Yeah, every time I wash my hair in the shower, I feel like I'm pulling stuff out. So yeah, I mean, there is that fear, I guess.
Awesome. All right. Good luck to you in 23. Thanks, Brandon.
That is good. That is good. Good sport. He played along.
Yeah, he
He
was.
asked that same question to Mania, and then he changed it. I think you changed the shoes thing because this was funny. Dan was like, showed me the shoes, and he's like, "Should I break them out today? I haven't worn them." And I was like, "Oh hell yeah, just do it." And then he I think your preface with everyone else was like, your manager Gabe Kapler, he's got some pretty good style, but I'm just wondering who has better style, Gabe Kapler or me? And then he showed the shoes.
And Mania, of course, went with Kapler, right?
Oh
he
yeah.
did. He goes, well, he goes, I like those. Those are loud. He goes, somebody, was it Diaz that was really contemplating? Yeah, I think it was Diaz. Diaz is like, I think he was leaning toward me, and then he went with Cap. Yeah, I told Mania, I says, yeah, probably a good move to go with Cap. He's got a lot more say about your career than I do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. We got this one from Carlo P. Says, amazing, Dan. You're a natural.
Oh, thanks. Hey, I met Carlo P. He was there in the at the yard.
Was he?
I think. Yeah, was that last week?
It's amazing
Carlo,
how many of these people are in Arizona. Is
I
he an
think it was-
Arizona guy?
Yeah, he's on the east side. I think it was last Friday, if I recall. He was in the stands. Pretty sure it was Friday. Yeah, because that was the day Kipe came down. Yeah.
So what do you? I mean, we talked a lot of Warriors already. We talked a little Warriors, I should say. But what was your takeaway from opening weekend of Giants baseball and what they've looked like? I guess Saturday, Cubs beat them 10-8 in Mesa, and at Sloan Park. Giants sloppy game, 6 errors, and it kind of makes you wonder, are they any better defensively than they were last year? But Piscotty had an RBI single. Casey Schmidt homered to left. That was a pretty sweet shot.
Yeah.
Somebody named Drew Strotman got lit up. And then Sunday, Giants beat the Reds 7-6 in Scottsdale. 14 hits. There were no errors.
A walk-off by Will Wilson, yeah.
Will Wilson, RBI single in the 8th, and then a walk-off RBI single again in the 9th. Joey Bart had an RBI double. Mania pitched and 2 innings. I guess he had great velocity, according to the reports. Doval had a shutout inning. Jelly pitched a couple shutout. Jorge Guzman with a shutout. Izan Diaz had a 1-for-3 day, stolen base and a run. What do you think of the Giants watching them the first weekend of Cactus?
Yeah, I think it's early, but the main thing is just getting guys work, especially the pitching staff, making sure guys talk to Mania. He was basically like, he was just looking to get out there and get his work in and not get hurt, basically come out of it healthy, build up his innings, worked on his changeup quite a bit in the off season, which he's always had a great changeup. When he threw that no-hitter against Boston back, what was that? What year was that? 18? 17, can't remember what year it was, but
They said he was 93 to 96.
yeah, he's definitely
He was
picked up.
88 to 90 last year.
Yeah, so
That's a big difference.
if he can stay at that will be something else.
Is that
Today was
Driveline? Is that all
interesting.
Driveline?
Yeah, drive line. What's interesting today was Cobb in the first inning, gave up 4 runs. And listening to him in the locker room after his, they kind of, we didn't have to wait till after the game. They just said, he's ready to, if you want to go talk to him, he'll be available. So I went in there, also got an individual interview with him, but he was pretty frustrated with the pitch clock today. He was like saying this, just like, all the minor leaguers say it'll come, but he said, this is like, the intent is to, speed up the game. He says, I felt like I was just throwing, not pitching. I was getting the ball back first inning. I was rushing. I was just, basically didn't have time to.
And he moves fast, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's a really interesting thing because I think baseball, I wouldn't be surprised if the
games have been faster, but so what? I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised if they adjusted it at some point and went, instead of 15 and 20 with a man on base, why not go 20 and 25? I mean, the game, you think about it, Gabe was talking about it this morning, that you got to give the batter, once the pitcher gets, you're giving a signal to the third base coach for whatever you're putting on, and then he's got to get that signal to the batter, and the batter's got to be in the box engaged with 8 seconds left in the pitch clock. So you have zero time to really get anything that's baseball related, putting on plays or, it's crazy.
I'll say this, the pitchers are going to have to really be in shape.
Yes.
Because you're going to have to get it and throw it. And you made that point last week, but then watching it, it's clear. I mean, you got to maintain a rhythm.
Yeah. I asked Cobb that today. I asked him, I says, do you feel like, when you get the ball back that you have enough, rest to throw with the velocity that you want to throw with from pitch to pitch? Because you got to, you almost got to be like Steph, how Energizer Bunny running around. You got to be totally different mindset, be physically shaped, because, you think about a guy that throws 100 miles an hour. He isn't getting the ball back generally and throwing it, 10 seconds later. He's getting his breath, looking in, so it's going to be interesting. I talked to Joey Bard as well, because if you remember watching him, after every pitch, he would step out of the box, adjust his batting gloves, both of them, get back in. He actually said, he goes, I kind of like it because I'm now just staying in the box and I'm not overthinking like what's the pitcher trying to do to me. I'm not even stepping out. I'm just ready to hit. And he hit 2 bombs today. He hit one to the right center field wall that the center fielder went off his glove and Bart got a double. And the next bat, he hit a home run. So, maybe a lot of this stuff was in just Joey's head last year.
Well, you were making it sound like Kapler was trying to prep you guys for the fact that Bart wasn't going to make the team, maybe.
Well, I wouldn't say prep us to maybe not make the team, but just be prepared that it's a 4-horse race and that, they really are. Joey's got to prove.
So it's Wins, Roberto Perez, Bart,
and Sable.
Yeah. We welcome in Cy Sotz's.
What's up, Cy?
Cy, before we get to you, Cy, Jim Molay throws a $10 donation. It's unrelated. The Giants' $9 beer deal is Bush League. Only applies to domestic beers like Bud Light, and only at the Doggy Diner stands and a few other standard concession stands. My Anchor Steams are still $14 a pop. $14? Actually, that's a steal at a Warrior game. I paid what I pay? I think I paid $53 for 3 tall boys at the Warrior game.
Wow,
damn.
$53, Si?
That's absurd. Yeah,
I want somebody in the buyout market, Joe. If I'm going to pay $53 for 3 tall boys, give me a 4th tall boy. I'll take Nerlens Noel. I mean, give me, you know what I mean? Give me something.
You got about 24 hours to get somebody.
And that adds
I want some height. I want some rim protection for $52 for 3 beers.
It's probably watered down too, right? I would imagine like they've got to do something like that, right? Water down those beers a little bit. You think?
They're in a bottle, aren't they?
The $14 ones are in a bottle.
They're in a gigantic can.
Oh, okay. Then you can't water that down. Okay. And well, anything out of a tap, I always imagine is watered
Oh
down.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I could be
yeah.
wrong. I don't know.
It's like the guy that paints your house when you're gone. Hey, go ahead. I'll be gone for the week. Paint it, and you come back, and he's like, "You paid for the paint," and he took he only used half because he took it back to the paint store, got his money back because he added water to the other half.
I didn't even know that was a move, but
That happened to me. That happened to
God.
me. Yeah.
Really?
On paint?
Yeah. That happened
Doesn't
to
your
me.
house look like crap?
Well, it was like I was gone
What's the point?
for like a week. Guy painted, and I'm like, I got back home and I go, man, this doesn't feel like eggshell. It kind of feels like flat. And I thought, I bought eggshell, and I had all the, Then he finally fessed up.
Wow. That's
You busted him. You're like Angela Lansbury.
That reminds me of
Well,
at one point when I was in
Murder she paint.
At one point when I was in Santa Barbara, and we had this guy Jared Norris, who was on the Panthers at the time. He was just training, doing like whatever linebacker training up in SoCal, and he was just parked on our couch in Santa Barbara, and like we were just dicking around, playing a lot of video games every day mostly. And one day he had on Clay Matthews. He was playing Call of Duty with Clay Matthews. And Clay Matthews, this just made me be like, okay, I don't know if I can be a Clay Matthews fan going forward. Clay Matthews is just like openly bragging about how like he has, his headset broke and like his mic broke, and he's just laughing about the fact that he's like, oh, I just sent it back to Amazon and like, in a return or whatever. Like I ordered a new one and then just said it didn't work and then returned it. And it's like, dude, you just got like a contract for like $200 million and you're pulling that kind of stuff.
Oh man. So Cy, what'd you think? They were down in this game and they came back. This is one of the great wins of the year.
It was incredible. I mean, they were down 17 at the half. They outscored Portland by 35 points in the second. It was borderline perfect. It was it went from being a concerning game to all of a sudden they remember they're good. The effort was there. I thought Kerr, I was on Locked On Warriors tonight before I came here. The theme of the show was mostly just praising Kerr because he gave. You've
been ripping him forever. You felt like you needed to.
I didn't feel a need to. No, I just felt he earned it. He deserved it because by his standards, because he gave Kuminga a leash, and I don't feel like he's ever done that, or he rarely does that. Kuminga did not start this game great. He was 1 for 3. I think his lone turnover was in the first half. Kuminga, by the way, is no longer turning the ball over, which should be a story in and of itself. But so he had a bad first half, and instead of doing what he normally does, Kerr, which is pull him and just hides him from humanity until the next game, he stuck with him. And in the second half, Kuminga was 7 for 7 from the field. He got that monster dunk. I don't know if you know which one I'm talking about, where it's like he was like 1 foot inside the free throw line, and I swear that he did it over 3 defenders. So I mean, this was just a great all-around game. Jordan Poole was on fire. Did you see Jordan Poole barking at Anthony Lamb? I forgot to mention this on Locked On Warriors. He was actually yelling at Lamb for his defense, which was
I know he was actually saying, Cyrus says you suck.
I think Jordan sucks a lot more. But and here's the other thing that was awesome was Kerr was like he saw that Ty
Did
Jerome
Kerr yell at him at halftime? Is that what happened?
Wait, who? What?
They were kind of referencing towards the end of the game that maybe Kerr yelled at him at halftime.
Oh, I don't know. That's news to me. That's first.
Or maybe I was reading that wrong.
I read that. I heard that. Yeah, that they thought maybe this was kind of a lamb blasting at halftime that Kerr must have. Looks like he kind of laid into him or something because they came out with a whole different focus and intensity.
Well, not to cut you guys off or you offside, but just on the note of Kerr, this is two good games in a row for Kerr. Because how about the Timberwolves game when they just showed him in the huddle just calmly being like, this was the same exact situation, just flipped. Last time we played these guys, just keep going, keep whatever.
Yeah, they were 10 up.
Let's
flip the script.
Yeah, and then they just completely did. So.
Yeah, and but one thing that Kerr did tonight that, for example, was in the third quarter, he kept the starters in there for a long stretch. Normally, he starts subbing players in like the 5-6 minute mark, sometimes even sooner. And tonight, like I gave Kerr credit for realizing early on that Ty Jerome, this was not Ty Jerome's game. The Trailblazers went on an 18-4 run late in the first quarter, early second. the moment Ty Jerome came in the game and Anthony Lamb came in right behind him. And I think that happened like twice. So Kerr, I think, kind of realized, all right, for once, I'm not going to be stubborn and keep my adopted son in here. And he pulled him out. And it worked, and so Ty Jerome played like, instead of like 25, 30 minutes, he played 17. A lot of those were in garbage time. And kudos to Kerr for being aware of the fact that certain players just were not making it happen tonight. Jordan Poole was making it happen. I thought he was awesome, even though he shot 3 for 10 from beyond the arc, which is weird. Draymond Green was back for the first time in like 3-4 games. This is just a great game. It was an absolutely great game.
Green hugging Poole at the end of the game. I mean, it was like, what was?
And some promising news is Steph scrimmaged down with the Santa Cruz.
He did. That's great. He might play tomorrow. I'm sorry. He might play Thursday.
Possibility.
Oh, yeah, big game Thursday too.
What's Thursday? Thursday's who?
Clippers.
Which
and right now they're tied in the 5 seed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would say if he doesn't play on Thursday, he'll definitely follow that up with the next game, which is what
Saturday or Sunday?
Oh, well, Friday actually. So maybe not. He's going to be playing soon though. Maybe I didn't realize it's Friday. So if he's not ready Thursday or Friday, they go back on the road. They go to the Lakers on Sunday, and I think he might be ready for that game, which would be great because LeBron's out.
Yeah.
So kind of turn the tables. They've been beating us without Steph and Wiggins, the Lakers.
What do you think? What do you guys think of, Cy, we've been talking about buyout candidates. Are they going to, first of all, they got to choose between their two-way players. Who would you choose between Lamb and Jerome? And is it all predicated on the health of Steph and or Wiggins, for obvious reasons there? And also, do you think that the Warriors will get that player in off the buyout market before the deadline, or is that fait accompli? It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to get anyone in the buyout. That's my guess. There's 3 players in the buyout that I would love for the Warriors to pursue. We've talked about Serge Ibaka. I think we've talked about Stanley Johnson. He's still available. Right. And then Nerlens Noel. So Larry, I know you love. He's available now. I don't think the Warriors are making a move. If I had to guess, I would guess that Anthony Lamb will get a guaranteed spot, or no one will get a guaranteed spot. I mean, that's also still very possible. In fact, that's probably the most likely scenario is no one getting it. But I think
just to save money.
Partly save money, partly because Bob Myers has a very different opinion than Steve Kerr about these guys. I mean, there's a reason they're still two-way players, But
I mean,
that's one thing that seems to go over a lot of people's heads is that, if the front office believed in these two the way Kerr believes in them, one of them would have a deal by now, or both. They'd figure something out. But the fact that they're still two-way players tells me, and should tell everyone that they don't believe in them. And I
gotta believe they got to sign someone at least for the end of the year for that. They don't have to do anything. Like Dan. No, I don't think they don't have to. But why would you waste?
Agree with Dan. They should. They're not deep enough.
Yeah. Why would you waste a roster spot when you don't know if Iguodala is going to play? You're not playing Baldwin.
Save money.
That's what I said. Is it a money thing?
It probably is. It's probably partly that. And then, like I said, there's probably also
this behind the scenes. Very bizarre when you're the defending champion inside your title window. You know what I mean? It's like you're trying to
do the same thing last year. This is why I don't think they're going to do anything, because last year, if you looked at them, they clearly needed somebody in the front court they were as thin last year as they are this year. And they did nothing then. I don't think they're going to do anything now. So,
Do you know what's going on with Wiggins? Has anybody said anything?
Nobody knows. The only thing I could tell you for sure is that certain news editors and reporters are getting curious. I think people are starting to look into it, but dude, that's weird because I was doing the math on this. Like, he's been out for over 2 weeks now. It's been 15 days. He's missed 4 games, but it would be a lot more if it wasn't for the All-Star break. I've never seen another situation like this where a player has missed this much time.
Kyrie.
without knowing at all. Like, why?
Yeah, true. Is it what he's saying? Serious family issue?
But Kyrie, though, didn't we know that he was he was taking a mental break, or I mean,
and you can't even count Kyrie that's a whole different.
But I thought even that one, we kind of knew a little more about it. Like, Kyrie was having mental, he was taking a mental break. I thought that was the situation that time, that he needed the mental break. We have no idea what's going on here at all. Like, this is just a complete mystery. Like, we don't even know if it is mental. Maybe it's a family thing. I mean, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, well, we just don't know. We just don't know. Bruce R says Kings Warriors first round matchup would be nice. I'll say beyond nice. I think Kings Warriors first round matchup would be enormous fun, and would stoke a rivalry that is absolutely would be incredible. And if and it would be good if the Warriors won, but it would be incredible if the Kings won. Could you imagine what that would do to the rivalry if Sacramento knocked off the Warriors in a playoff series? I mean, my God, that would just...
Is it true? Somebody in the chat said that the Kings have the highest offensive rating of all time right now.
All time?
Well, it's 118. 118.8.
I don't know if it's all time.
Well, they are playing a fast pace, and but I don't know about all time either.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look into that.
I would say no. You tell me the Denver Nuggets with Doug Moe didn't?
Oh, I'm looking at it right now. It's they are.
Yeah, here it is. Senior sophomore.
Yeah, the Sacramento Kings have the best offensive rating by a team in a season with 118.8. That's
All time.
insane.
Wow. So
And second to them is the Nuggets of this year, and then before that was the Nets of like that 1 year when it seemed like the Nets were going to win it all, when they had Harden and Kyrie and KD all cooking.
I think it goes to show offensive rating is overrated.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the Blazers are fourth in the NBA in offensive rating.
Yeah.
If you look at, are there more teams better? Would you rather have the top 4 teams offensive rating or the top 4 teams defensive rating?
Defense.
Yeah. Defense.
Easily. I'll always.
Who are the top 4 defensive teams?
Oh shoot.
Because Denver's number 2 offensively. So you get
Well,
Sacramento, Denver, somebody in Portland.
In terms of
top 4
offense, what are you looking at?
What's that?
Asking for? Are you asking
for offensive rating versus defensive rating? Would you rather have the top 5 offensive rating teams or the top 5 defensive rating teams if you're going for a title?
Like as your own team, or in terms of who you're playing against?
No. If you as your own team, would you rather have the top 5? Would you rather be top 5 defense or top 5 offense?
Defense, yeah.
Defense all day, every day.
Because if you look at the top 5 offenses, I kind of like some of those teams.
Like who?
Well, I mean, I like Sacramento. I think Sacramento is fun to watch. I like Portland. I mean, these are. I mean, to me, it's about aesthetically pleasing. In addition to how much staying power do they have in the playoffs. I do think it's interesting that Mike Brown is known kind of as a defensive coach. The Warriors miss his defensive ideology. He goes to Sacramento, puts the ball in De'Aaron Fox's hand, playing an incredible pace, and now they're leading the league in offensive rating.
Okay, just looking at I'm looking at the top 5 of each. You'd have to say you'd want the defensive one if you're saying you can have 5 of either to win the title. So this is how offense goes: Kings, Nuggets, Celtics, Blazers, Jazz. Actually, I mean that's pretty good. And then Bucks, Grizzlies, Cavs, Celtics, Heat.
Ooh, the Celtics are both.
Celtics
are both.
That's the intriguing one. Spencer says Sacramento fourth quarter, one of the best fourth quarter and clutch defensive teams in the league.
It's facts.
Let me ask you this: if you had a pick, if you're a Western Conference team, you get into the playoffs, and you magically have your choice of who to play in the first round, who are you picking? Of the top 8 teams.
What team are you? Any teams?
Any of the top 8.
Top 8?
Yeah.
I'd like to play either Dallas or let me look. Who is the top 8? Let me look.
I might want Sacramento.
Yeah,
probably Sacramento or Dallas. Those two.
No disrespect, it's just a really good matchup, I think, for the Warriors.
Well, and the Lakers. Someone with the Lakers came out. I don't know who it was, and they said that they want to play the Kings in the first round, but they said inexperience was the reason. And it makes sense. They have no playoff experience, so the Kings could easily light it up, finish with the 3rd seed, and then just go in the playoffs and lay an egg. It's very possible. No disrespect. I know there are some Kings fans in here tonight. I like your team, but you have no experience, so it wouldn't surprise me if.
And this is like this is one of those like steps. Like this is great for them this year.
Exactly.
Then I think they're going to get humbled a little bit in the playoffs, and then the following year I think it's going to be a little less about the regular season and just more towards like gearing towards the playoffs.
So
they
they
lead
more like,
the NBA outside of Boston. They lead the NBA in road wins.
That's
so who do you
impressive.
think the Kings are more like last year? Last year's like a Memphis or like Minnesota?
Minnesota.
I think Sabonis has just been so huge for them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that he has played all year with the bum thumb. And then they started to get points out of Keegan Murray. And once Keegan Murray started to give him offense, it's like, wow, suddenly this team's kind of scary. It's like, who do you they got a bunch of guys who can score it. You got to guard Herter, you got to guard Fox, you got to guard Sabonis. I mean, now if Murray starts making perimeter shots, you got to guard him too. So they play a fast pace. I mean, I think Fox has really had a career renaissance with the ball in his hands this year. He's
Big
been
time.
terrific.
Do you want to hear some? Do you want to hear some interesting stats about Jonathan Kuminga that shows you just how young he really is?
Yeah,
sure.
As I saw this on the Twitter account Kuminga Muse, which is a Jonathan fan page, and I love this page because I bought so much Kuminga stock now; it's filling up my closet. Jonathan Kuminga is only a month older than Paolo Banchero. That's it, just a month.
Yeah.
He is a year younger than Jaden Ivey, and he's over 2 years younger than Keegan Murray, the Kings rookie. The kid is a baby. He
should have been. He reclassified. He should have been a rookie this year.
Is he? And I
love that he's on the Warriors, man.
I think he's like 10 years younger than Drew Timme.
Yeah, exactly.
Who, by the way,
Timmy, who only has 3 more years of eligibility.
No, I'm not even joking. He has 1 more year of eligibility.
Yes, he does.
No joke.
What?
He has 1 more year.
Yeah, he has one more year of eligibility.
Dan and I were watching the same.
He's got 1 more year until he gets teaching tenure.
Yeah, I think it's like 7th year. Like, I don't know.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
yes, we heard it. We were watching the game.
COVID, like he gets like the extra COVID bump on addition to the. I don't know what else.
That is ridiculous. Drew Timmy's got a whole nother year of eligibility. That guy just refuses to go pro. And the thing about it is he's got like the closest thing I think I've seen to like Kevin McHale kind of like low post drop step moves. I mean, the footwork that Timmy displays on the block is freaking awesome, man.
He doesn't have those.
I mean, he's got drop
arms
step moves.
Like,
he's
like
more
McHale,
6'9", where McHale was more like 6'11".
Yeah, McHale played like they had.
7'1".
I can't believe that team. They had Parrish and McHale that both played like 7'5". I mean, they were just like
McHale's like wingspan was supposed to be like 8 foot or something.
It was crazy.
Kevin McHale looked so weird at the foul line with the way his jersey used to hang off his chest. It was like his broad shoulders and just no muscle. Just looked so bizarre.
Like,
but he was great, man. He was great.
By
the way, I saw a picture of Rick with Dave Cowens.
Yeah. Cowens is tall.
Rick is tan as tan can be, man.
Yeah.
Rick was wearing the lime green shirt, the lime green hat, and man, Rick's tan and looking good.
That's a team that won, NBA titles with a 6'9" center, like
Cowens?
when the Celtics with Cowens. I mean,
76,
kind of reminds you a little bit of a Looney in a way. I mean, he's just
Sai, let me pose it to you. What do you think? Okay, let's say the Warriors win another title either this year, the next year, or let's even say 3 years from now. Is Looney getting a statue? Because he's obviously not a Hall of Famer, but I'm not joking. Like, you have to start thinking like, I mean, the guy's as integral as anybody, and he doesn't miss games. He didn't miss a single game last year.
You got to give him a statue.
This year.
I think if they win this year, I would give him a statue. I would.
Yeah.
I give him.
But right now, because right now, I don't even know if Andre Iguodala gets a statue. I mean, I think he should, but I don't know if he would.
Just him him golfing.
Well,
I put
or
statues
just
of
in a suit. I mean,
if I'm London Breed, I'm putting statues of Kevon Looney all over town just to show what work looks like.
Lou Wajuan.
Jeez, guy's got the best work ethic of anybody. Just comes off like 2 torn labrum surgeries, and he doesn't miss a game for what's he at, like 130, 40 straight games right now? How many? He hasn't missed this year either.
Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you guys. Did you guys see the highlight or low light of LaMelo breaking down?
Oh, his ankle?
Did
what?
did he roll the ankle or did he
broke
break
it.
the ankle?
He broke it.
He fractured it.
So what the heck is that? Does he have the world's softest bones? It wasn't even. He just moved a little bit to the side, a little bit to the back.
He's
It
going
was
to be
just that
calling
little
Steph.
half court dribbling.
He's
I
going to
haven't
be
seen
calling.
clips, but I don't know.
He's calling Steph, and he's going to be learning how to wear those ankle things that Steph wears because he.
I mean, it didn't look like anything. I mean, if that's what fractures his ankle, he might be like Sam Bowie or something. I mean, that was scary. It didn't look like anything. He dribbled a little bit to the side, a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left, and then just kind of fell back on his butt, and then that's it.
It was
Yeah, that's
probably
wild.
already. It's kind of like
haven't
it was
seen that.
probably already compromised, and it just.
It's kind of wild how Anthony Edwards is. I mean, after year one, like it seemed improbable for anyone to be, higher than LaMelo in that draft. And now it's like he's piling up the injuries and the Hornets have kind of gone into the tank. And then Anthony Edwards is the first pick from LeBron in the All-Star game. And the guy is built like a freaking football player. I love Edwards.
Well, let's talk a little bit about LeBron and his impact on the Lakers. When he's off the court, they are awful. But when he's been on the court, he's like MVP because they are he's like really high plus minus when he's playing, and they're a totally different team. Does this make the Lakers fall out of the top 10? Like potential. I mean, he's out for what they say, just several weeks, which is probably at least 2, maybe 3.
Yeah, I mean,
they have no idea what's going on with him in terms of how long they're going to reevaluate him, just like they're doing with Curry tomorrow in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
Yeah,
and plus AD. I mean, what? AD is not going to carry the team.
Well, I could see AD going down before the end of the season.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he always does.
By the way, Vanderbilt's just been like their second best. Like
Wow,
there's
that's
been
the
many
guy.
games where he's like the second best player on the team, and it's just like how the hell did he just get
he is-
shoehorned, and how did the Warriors not just come
It's
with
amazing.
like second round picks?
Now, here's an interesting
Blink
question
is an
for you
amazing
guys.
GM, man. He did an incredible job, man.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm just now because I walked out of the room. The Shaden Sharp jam
Oh yeah,
tonight was
It was-
dirty.
it
And
might
then I
have-
thought Green was going to push him away. It kind of went nose to nose there for a
he
second.
got in his face there and kind of was having fun with him. Yeah. Well, what do you guys think of, you're talking about Vanderbilt. Who do you think would have been is better for the Warriors? Would have been, Peyton or Vanderbilt? Because they could have had Vanderbilt if they kept those seconds. They traded 5 seconds for, basically to Atlanta, swapped them to get Peyton, but Vanderbilt was available for what, 2 or 3 seconds?
not
I don't
even.
know. But I'm happy if Gary Payton II comes back healthy. I'm happy with him. I think it was the right move. As good as Vanderbilt is, I still would prefer the proven talent who fits in with the team. Like a seamless glove. So
Yep.
I would still go with Gary Payton II. But the fact that the Warriors didn't do anything to get Vanderbilt is disappointing. Because you're right, he would have been attainable with the right offer, and the Warriors I think had enough pieces to.
Oh, they
Make a
definitely
move.
had enough pieces.
What did the Lakers move for Hachimura?
Well, that was 3 second
Yeah.
rounders, and that's it.
God, I
And-
mean that one right there. I think that's theft. I mean, you're talking about a 6'9" player who,
Agreed.
he's exciting, man. He's
I-
Malay says, "I love Cy. Toastier than a campfire marshmallow." Right there with you, brother.
I love Malay.
Malay's,
No, I'm actually sober right now.
Malay's firing up
purely-
the hookah.
No, I haven't
Malay-
done anything yet because I
Malay looks
never.
a little bit like Cy from the side, a little
I
bit.
never
Yeah.
light up- I never
turn
light
to the
up
side.
Locked On
Turn
Warriors.
to the side there, Si. Let's get a profile.
Profile shot? No, I never light up for Locked On Warriors. And I didn't. And I just
You don't, you don't like
Just
me?
Larry's show. Just Larry's show.
just Larry's
yeah.
show. Yeah. Well, I'm not
When
gonna
you're
shave for Larry's
when
show.
you're sober on Locked On.
I have to be. Oh yeah, hell yeah, I have
Oh,
to be,
really?
man. I mean, I gotta.
Oh, I was disappointed. I always thought maybe you were a little above everybody,
That was-
if you know what I'm saying.
Well, Larry, I don't know what you're saying. What I elaborate.
I thought
confused.
maybe you were elevated a little bit.
Your
Um,
stoner language is above my head.
Did you see Kobe Bryant's widow, Vanessa Bryant, settled today the crash photos lawsuit, $28.8 million settlement.
It's pretty good. I mean,
$28.8 million. Wow.
Yeah, wow.
That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. So, Cy, do we see real growth here from the Warriors? I mean, do they make it? Do they carry tonight's momentum into the game against the Clips?
Hell yeah, man! Winning cures everything. Momentum is a real thing, as you obviously know. But this game Thursday is huge, man. I mean, it's crazy. It is absolutely insane to me that the Warriors, just from a 3-game winning streak, are now tied for 5th in the Western Conference. They're just a game behind the Suns for the 4th seed. Steve Kerr yesterday in the post-practice presser alluded. Someone asked him, like, do you actually pay attention to the standings? And he was like an emphatic yes to that question. He said he checks it at least once a day. He doesn't check it during games, obviously, but yeah, everyone's paying attention. And I do think tonight's win was huge. I mean, it's a confidence builder because I think for players like Kuminga, especially the younger ones who the team is suddenly relying on more, or like a Dante DiVincenzo, who's relatively new, even though he has a ring, he didn't play in that postseason. I think for players like them, this was particularly big. I totally do, because and that Thursday game is going to be huge, man, because Steph or no Steph, it's a test. It's a big test. And the Clippers, I think, are still the biggest threat to the Warriors. So even though it's just a regular season game, the Warriors are probably going to be missing Wiggins. Would love to know what's going on there, but obviously hope he's okay. We don't know if Steph's going to play, but that Thursday game is going to be huge. But yeah, tonight was big. I mean, momentum's a real thing. This gave them confidence, and I mean, if they win that game Thursday, I mean, they have a firm grip of the 5th seed, and Phoenix is just right there. It's crazy. So, maybe this whole time there was a little method to the madness in terms of just not putting the gas down and not making any hasty moves, whether it's with a trade or whatever.
It's a weird year.
The Warriors believe in this team, they do. And so
I'm just looking at their schedule, their remaining 20, and I kind of mapped it out. I think it looks like about 13-7 to me.
Okay.
We'll go through this real quick. What do you guys think? Win or loss? Okay. So go Thursday, home Clippers, and Friday, home Pelicans. Win-win?
1-1.
Okay.
1-1.
All right. Then road, Sunday, Lakers.
Loss.
Win.
I think they'll win that game.
LeBron.
No LeBron. I think they win that game. Go to OKC.
You think loss, Larry? Even without LeBron?
Lakers are playing well at home. The Lakers have desperation.
I think Steph's back for that game.
I will say this: if the Warriors lose that game Sunday, they're in big trouble. They should win that game, even without Steph. If the Lakers don't have LeBron James, that is not a good team. If the Warriors lose that game, they're not there yet.
Okay, so then after the Lakers, they go to OKC. I think they should win that. Then they go to Memphis. That's might be a loss.
Take an L.
Then they come home 2 days later to Milwaukee. Tough game, but I think they can beat Milwaukee.
Milwaukee's on an absolute heater.
Yeah, and then they play home to Phoenix. Then they go on the road.
Will be back.
Then they go on the road for 3 tough games. I think the Clippers, the Hawks, and then back to back next night Memphis. So I think they might those 3 games they'd be maybe get one of those.
Yeah.
And then they go to Houston and then Dallas. I think they can beat, and then they come home to Philly, Minnesota, New Orleans, San Antonio, and then they go to Denver. The last 4 games in April, they go to Denver.
Denver might be playing for nothing.
Then they're home to OKC, on the road to Sacramento, and they close out in Portland. So it's not an easy schedule, but to me, it should be, even if they go 12-8, that will give them 44 wins. I think that's enough for a 6th seed.
I agree with Ghostface. He says that's rough. I think that's kind of a rough schedule. There's a lot of road games in there.
There's 3,
7,
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Oh, 11. Wow.
Yeah, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4,
DJ Venus. So that sounds like a very difficult
Yeah,
schedule.
11. So 9 at home, 11 on the road. Pretty much split. But I think if they, with Steph coming back and if Wiggins comes back, I think, they'll. Now, here's a question for you guys. This is interesting. If they're got a sure spot, 4, 5, or 6, and the last game, determines their seed, do they play for a seed to maybe not face the Clippers or something in round 1, or do the Warriors just?
It's too far out.
I mean,
by the way, it is
come down
11
to
o'clock, and I always like to check. If anybody needs to jump, I think, Rye, you need to jump, right?
Yeah, I'm going to need to jump too.
A little
It's
under
actually
the
12 o'clock here in Arizona. When's daylight savings? A couple more weeks?
That's a good question.
Oh,
the last one ever. It's the last one ever.
Ooh.
Is it? Are they getting rid of daylight savings time?
Yes, they are.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We don't have it in Arizona, so it's kind of nice because I'm always trying to figure out what the heck the time is.
So we're going to have no daylight savings, which means what? We're going to be always in the summer mode or winter mode?
Correct. Always in the summer mode.
Summer mode.
Okay, so I'm looking at the calendar. It looks like daylight. Oh, it's March 12th. So 2 a.m. on March 12th. So 2 weeks from now, we're back on the same time.
Wow.
Well, actually, 12. Yeah, just less than 2 weeks. So a week, just about 10 days. That's cool. Because then we'll be on the same time. So I'm going to head out because it's 12 o'clock. I've got to get up early. So
for what? What do you got to do early?
I run over to Scottsdale. I got to be at the Giants camp. The locker room opens at 8:45, and it's like an hour plus drive because of traffic. It's just crazy. So I got to leave like 7:30.
Get some good interviews.
Yeah, I'll get some more. Yeah, I had quite a few today. It was kind of fun. So,
well, hey, next time maybe we can play some on the show. We'd love to.
Absolutely.
Tell everybody where they can find your channel, Danny.
Yeah.
NorCal Sports Network. There's a NorCal Sports TV. I'm NorCal Sports Network. Okay. Yeah. Make sure you get the one with the California flag as the logo.
I can't believe that no one else took that name. That's impressive, man. I'm shocked that.
I know, seriously. That seems like it would be like really like one of the first ones grabbed.
Yeah. Right.
But Danny, have a good night.
All right, thanks.
Good interviews. We'll talk to you. Appreciate you. One G-Code Travels vlog. Larry, thoughts on the drafty Cody Mauch. Fluid pass protector, good run blocker, has Joe Staley, funny personality. Trey played with him and is projected in the 3rd round. I will say this, you can park a Suburban between the guy's teeth. I mean, he's got a huge gap in his teeth, and looks like just like a good old boy. And I saw him in the All-Star game, and he looks like the kind of guy who just wants a brawl. Definitely a good offensive lineman. I don't know if 3rd round, I haven't graded him out or anything, but he looked like somebody that likes to mix it up. He looked physical. I'll say that. So I'd say, 3rd, 4th round. I like
this.
That.
So you're doing all your mock draft research? Is that what?
Well, I don't know. I haven't really got into it yet.
Right.
It's just we're not even at the combine. With the combines this week, and so it's kind of a busy week on the for the draft. But it's like it's hard to say what it's going to ultimately be. Couple thoughts here.
Yeah.
One on the 49ers I thought was kind of interesting. Give me your thoughts on this. John Lynch spoke today in Indianapolis, and this is what he said about, he talked about Jimmy Garoppolo, Brock Purdy, and Trey Lance. About Jimmy Garoppolo, he said, he admires him as a teammate, admires his toughness, but then he also said it's probably run its course and time for him to move on. So that he was warmer than Shanahan was, but
Shanahan was
like he ain't coming back or whatever. I forget exactly what Shanahan said, but it was very terse and it was very awkward and very cold, and it sounded like he was pissed. Lynch was more gracious and was like, hey, Jimmy's a good teammate and he's a tough guy and he's won a lot of games. but it's probably run its course
Mhm.
and see you later. Then he started talking about Brock Purdy, and he's like
Okay.
talking about his surgery, and he's like, we're doing lots of praying, and basically
Oh.
said that the doctor, Dr. Meister, it was his decision to move the surgery back about 10 days. And they had to wait for the swelling and the stiffness to go away from the
Right.
elbow. So they're going to do the surgery early next week. He says, we're praying. There's a variety of time frames for his return. Lynch also said that they may have to look into the quarterback market for a third quarterback, but it also sounded like Brock is their guy.
Interesting.
Then
Trey
when
is
it
the
got to
backup.
Trey Lance, he said Trey's recovering well. He's been throwing. He referenced that he had a secondary ankle procedure. Swore how much he loves his makeup and his character, and then called him a dual threat, dual capacity quarterback. But then he said something that I thought was really interesting on Trey Lance. He said he's got to play. He goes, that's the biggest challenge. We have a team that's ready to win right now, or that's ready to go.
Right.
He has to get out there and play. We very much believe in who he is as a person and who he is as a quarterback. The fact that he helped Brock while he was hurt, it speaks to his character. But just focus on the first part of that. He's got to play.
Yeah.
That's the biggest challenge. We have a team that's ready to go. So why, if they believed in him fully, why is that a challenge?
Well,
Hurt, and it's like, I don't look at that as a challenge. It's like he's going to play. He didn't come out and say Trey's our guy. We believe in Trey. Trey's going to play a lot for us this year. He's just said he's got to play, and that's the biggest challenge. I'm telling you, I got James Wiseman vibes out of that.
ooh,
I got this like,
ooh, really?
he's got to play, but he can't play here. And then a couple weeks later, he's a Piston. And then that's what I got out of this. He's got to play. That's the biggest challenge. We have a team that's ready to go. The implication is that Trey is not ready to play on a team that's ready to go. Am I reading too much into that?
Well,
Or
I would trust the way you read
the
into it
obvious
more than me.
implication.
Like when I hear it, I'm hearing him saying that he's a good player, which I feel like he's saying that because he's a good player who just shouldn't sit on the bench. And then at the same time, he's saying that the team is in a win now mode. So maybe, I mean, until you said that, I didn't hear it. But then when you did say it, now I'm hearing it totally differently. So
It's
it
just
could
weird.
be.
It's a weird thing to say. Like you
It is.
could have said, "Hey, you know what? We love Trey, and Trey's going to be great for us this year, and he's going to get an opportunity with Brock out, and we really feel good about it." And then it's like he started off by kind of saying he's got to play, and that's the biggest challenge because we've got a team that's ready to go. And it's like he needs to play to develop. We have a team that needs to win. It almost sounded like expect Trey to be traded. Now, I don't know. Maybe I'm
Does he have
wrong.
value as a trade target? I mean, dude,
I think he does have value because I think there's a bunch of teams that need quarterbacks, and there's only 3 or 4 of them that are going to go in the first round. And if you're sitting there between 10 and 20, you need a quarterback. I don't know that you can do better than Trey.
I mean, let me ask you this, Larry, and tell me if I'm crazy or not. Like when I hear elbow injuries with quarterbacks, even though like the procedure in this case is what, like it's like a Tommy John-ish, but it's like a more minor version, right? Where 6 months he should be back. Is that
some form of a surgery, but not elbow reconstruction?
Okay, but like the Joe Montana thing freaked me out forever with elbows because he ended up being out for 2 years. Remember that? Like, and that was the end of his days with the 49ers. And elbow injuries for QB, that freaks me out a little bit. Even if it's best case scenario, he's back in what, 6 months, which puts him in August, right when the season's starting. And so you have to keep Trey Lance, right? Because what's your option? What's your alternative if it doesn't work out with Purdy? I mean,
I agree.
Yeah.
So it seems really odd to me that he would talk about, but that's a weird way to say it. He's got to play, and we've got a team that's ready to go. And that's the challenge. It's like, it's almost like he's saying he needs to play and we know it, but he needs to play on a team that's not ready to go.
And this was unprompted.
We are.
Like he just started talking about Trey Lance.
He was asked a question about Trey, something about Trey.
And he started like this. Okay.
But he's like, yeah,
I
he's
that's
got to
that
play, and that's the biggest challenge. But we have, we have a team that's ready to go now. So it's like, it sounds kind of like they feel like I think that there's a chance that somebody may offer them something and they may take it. Like, I would not be surprised if the 49ers signed a veteran quarterback, a Carson Wentz, a Marcus Mariota.
like what
Um,
senior softball games,
I
right?
don't
To
like
Matt
Matt
Ryan.
Ryan. I don't like Matt Ryan because Matt
But is
Ryan's
that
old.
realistic? Could that be is that a
Yeah. Oh yeah.
possibility?
It's possible. It could be Matt Ryan, but I think they'll sign a veteran quarterback and then they'll see where Brock's surgery is. But if Brock comes out of the surgery well and they've got a veteran quarterback and they get into the draft and somebody, makes them a nice offer for Trey, wouldn't be shocked at all if they moved him. So I don't know. That one to me is gonna be very interesting to watch.
What's your preference though? I mean, would you prefer to keep Trey Lance because or trade him? Like if you can get a first rounder for him, would you trade him or would you keep him? What like how much do you value him, you personally?
Um, I know that Trey's gonna be good eventually, and so that scares the hell out
Keep
of
him
me to trade him.
and keep him.
It's kind of like Wiseman. Like I really think that Wiseman's gonna be good eventually. So I was scared to trade him, but I think Trey is more of a lock to be good eventually. But that eventually is not going to be this year. I think that eventually is going to be like 2 years, 3 years. And since that probably doesn't jive with Shanahan's timeline, I wouldn't trade him for a third round pick.
No.
But if somebody gave me the 11th pick in the draft and another player, yeah, I would do it. I absolutely would.
Otherwise, just hold on to him, right? He already knows
Yeah.
the system.
Hold on to him. But if somebody says, because like, what I look at it is, if there's a great player in the draft, and like I think the Notre Dame tight end is truly a great player. I think he's a Pro Bowl caliber tight end. If you added a Pro Bowl caliber tight end to what the Niners have,
Oh, like a
that
second
would,
one, right? Like a
yeah, I
second.
mean that would
Yeah.
be really incredible. But I don't want to trade him for just a second round pick or something. No, it would have to be for a pick that really would lead you to a player that you knew would step in and make a great impact. So
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think they should. And the other part of this too, and I'm sure you've talked about this, so sorry if I'm being redundant, but like Brock Purdy, anyone who loves the Niners fell in love with them this year, right? I mean, who knows what happens in that NFC Championship if he plays? I mean, everything about the kid is just. I mean, like you were one of the first people, period, to praise him. I thankfully, the moment we found out he was going to play on your show, I echoed your praise. I love the kid, still do. But this injury is concerning, and there's also the fact that we've only seen a half season sample size, right? Like, what if, like, he's the guy, he's ready somehow miraculously for day one, and he's ends up just being an average QB. Like he never gets better than what we saw, and I mean, for that reason, I feel like it would be nice to keep Trey Lance, because
I mean, I would like to keep Trey Lance from some standpoint of I think Trey Lance is going to be a really good quarterback.
There you go. There you go.
But at the same time, if you could turn Trey Lance into two players or a really good tight end, and you could sign a Marcus Mariota, and you had Brock Purdy healthy, I don't know. I kind of look at it this way: if they have concerns about Trey Lance, it's probably wise to trade him. If they don't have concerns about Trey Lance and he's not pressuring them through his family or his agent to leave, I'd ride it out. Let it, see how it goes.
He was at a Warriors game. Did you see him there?
What's that?
Did you see Trey Lance at the Warriors game the other day? Like,
with hugging Jordan Poole.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he might be a Barry guy, man. I don't know.
He's solid too. He's a solid guy. Jaguayo says, "Were you surprised Lynch said unlikely to sign a defensive tackle?" I didn't even see that. But yeah, that surprises me a little bit because they need a defensive tackle.
Yeah. Draft?
They absolutely do.
Does that mean he's not going to get one in the draft either? I mean,
no, that probably means they will get one in the draft.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Okay, yeah, that's how I read that.
Because it's like the draft or free agency.
Yeah,
I mean, they need a defensive tackle. They need an offensive tackle. They need a defensive tackle. So they got to get them in one spot or the other. All right, we're almost done here. We've been going for a long time. We're an hour and 15 minutes in.
Yeah, and you're not feeling good, right? I mean, you're
I'm kind of
you're
dragging
battling,
today.
dude. You're a warrior. People need to know that. Larry Krueger is sick.
I'm battling
He's sucking it
an
up for the
illness today.
audience. You know, I mean,
Seriously.
you don't have to do any of this. I mean, you're a man of the people, Larry, and
I
that's just
absolutely
nice.
am. I absolutely am. Let me tell you about our title sponsor, Pig in a Pickle. Check them out in Corte Madera, 341 Corte Madera Town Center. They're open 7 days a week in Marin County. And they're also in Emeryville, in the Emeryville Public Marketplace. And they're open Wednesday through Sunday in Emeryville. Pig in a Pickle in Marin County. They open at 11 a.m. They close at 8 p.m. every single day. The brisket is amazing. The pulled pork, the baby back ribs, the chicken, the homemade sausages. It's all great. The potato salad. My kids love the white cheddar mac and cheese, the beef brisket chili, the kettle tallow potato chips. They've got it all, man. They got a catering menu. They got craft beers and kids menus and family menus and salads and sandwiches. Pig in a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. You're going to love it. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. And if you don't believe me, how about check out this little video, courtesy of Pig in a Pickle. And welcome back to the Krueg Show. Also, big thanks to Casey Bateman and the good people at Telmetrics for being a proud sponsor of the show today. And here's a word from our good friends at Telmetrics. Once again, thanks to Telmetrics, TELMETRIX.co. And also special thanks to our sponsor of today's show, New York Style Italian Sausage.
Oh, yeah.
And here is a little Pasquale in your grill.
Oh, yeah.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner. That means no matter how busy you were, no matter where the hell you were, you came to dinner on a Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday dinner without sausage, it's like a church without God. You know, how can you go to church if you don't believe in God? You know, and along with the sausage also became the discussions. That was discussion night. You know, it wasn't a typical family that you sit there and you're quiet, you know, and you don't talk with a mouthful. Oh no, man. Italians talk when they're eating. Italians even talk when they're sleeping. And definitely we talk with our hands. So if we can't express it through our mouth, through our lips, we express it with our hands. So, and that's what sausage is, really. It's an expression, you know, that life is good.
There you go. Thanks to our good friends at New York Style Italian Sausage.
Well,
all right, Cy.
Larry, have you ever had gabagool? I mean, they used to say that I want some gabagool, man.
From The Office? Did you ever see that where the guy from The Office? We'll get the gabagool.
Gabagool. Are you done? There was a few things here in the chat. I don't want to leave people hanging unless are you tapped?
Yeah, no, let's get him. Show
Well, Brian,
Dan eating sausage.
Our buddy Brian is expressing concern with Jordan Poole, similar to how a lot of people are talking about Poole lately. I don't blame him. All I'm saying is like his shooting is good enough still. You know, like I'm not worried about Jordan Poole. Is what I'm trying to say.
Brian says back to the Dubs. I'm very concerned with the way Poole has shot the ball these last 6 games, shooting 35% from the field, 20% from 3. Nice second half tonight, but he's not shooting well. I asked Kerr about this the other day. He's not shooting from the line well. He's not shooting from 3 well. I don't think they really know what it is.
Yeah.
Other than they're just going to try to get him back on.
But he's
back on track.
But his numbers aren't at a place where like they're horrible either. I mean, he's shooting 33% from 3, so that's the Mendoza line. As long as it's at 33 and above, you're happy. His shoot is just he's regressed a little bit, but it's I don't know.
He takes some wild shots. He needs to put, I would say, about a third of the time that he hoists from 3, he needs to put it on the deck and go to the rim.
Yes,
he's not that great of a 3-point shooter. Go to the rim, young fella.
Agreed.
Especially on this team where they've got guys who will camp at the line and shoot the 3. He needs to put it on the deck and attack and get to the line. I mean, to me,
I'm with you.
Jordan Poole, where I think Jordan Poole is really, really the most valuable, is when he's attacking the rim, going to the line, and making free throws at a crazy high clip.
100%.
Then you're sitting there going, we can't stop this guy. We can't stand in front of him. And then if we send him to the line, he makes every damn free throw. I mean, he needs to get back to that guy, right?
Exactly. And his work ethic is so admirable. He also was right in the middle of like that huge drama at the start of the year, getting decked by Draymond. I mean, this is, I'm not worried overly about Jordan Poole. I think he's fine. And I want to try some Gabagool, man. Does Pascal make that Gabagool? Is that
Pasquale?
Is that an option? I want to hit him up, man.
I don't think Gabagool's on the menu. Hey, by the way, everybody, if you're in the stream and you've yet to like and subscribe, please hit like and subscribe. We're getting close to 15,000 subs for the channel.
Oh, man. Congrats,
also,
dude.
tomorrow, I want to tell you about tomorrow on the channel. So tomorrow is Wednesday. Jordan Elliott is going to join us from Niners Nation from the Combine at 4:00 in the afternoon. So join us tomorrow at 4 on the Krueg Show. And then at 7:30, Jesse Naylor, who's a phenomenal Niner content creator who lives back in Tampa. He's going to join us at 7:30. So Jesse Naylor at 7:30, Jordan Elliott around 4:00. I was going to check out my kids' baseball game, Northgate, tomorrow against Marin Catholic, but I think it might have gotten rained out. So, it's just been not rained out, but the fields are flooded. That's what's going on. So
what a winter, dude. We've had like 7-8 years of just nothing, and it all caught up to us in 1 year.
I know. And then Thursday, Vish will be stopping by my channel, talk more Niners, and Wayne Breezy's going to join me on Thursday. He's got a Niner. He's a Niner content creator as well. And then we'll be on Thursday night after Warriors Clippers, and hopefully Cy can join us then.
Hell yeah,
and
man.
Then Friday,
Big game.
I'll be on Wayne Breezy's channel at 11 a.m. Ryan Henley's going to join me, or Hensley, I should say, is going to join me at, I think, 2:00. And then Grant Cohn is going to join me Friday as well.
Nice.
Or I'm going to join him Friday on his channel at 3:30 on the Grant Cohn Experience.
Good stuff.
So good stuff. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Not feeling 100%, so we'll get out quick tonight. But I appreciate all of you. And until next time, peace out.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you gon' get exactly what you asked for. Here for whatever you bring me, getting handled. I answer the